Welcome, future thinker. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. Let's dive straight into today's idea. Have you ever caught your mind drifting while doing something mundane, folding laundry, sitting in traffic, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a brilliant idea surfaces? That flash of insight may not be a coincidence. Today, we're exploring why mind wandering, often dismissed as distraction, might actually be the spark of genius. Let's start with the science. Researchers have identified a neural system called the default mode network, or DMN. This system activates when we're not focused on the outside world. Instead, it turns inward, daydreaming, reflecting, imagining the future. Far from being idle, the brain during these times is conducting complex computations. Here's an interactive thought. When was the last time you truly allowed yourself to do nothing? When we stop trying to focus, the DMN lights up. And guess what? It overlaps with brain areas involved in creativity, problem-solving, and self-awareness. The implication? Genius may emerge not from rigid focus, but from fluid reflection. A groundbreaking study by Baird and colleagues in 2012 asked participants to perform an undemanding task, just sorting objects, and then tested their creative problem-solving. The results were stunning. Creativity scores soared. Their conclusion? The mind uses low-demand moments to process ideas more deeply. That's not all. Another paper in Nature Reviews Neuroscience by Christoph et al. In 2016 revealed that mind wandering isn't random. The executive control network, responsible for goals and planning, co-activates with the DMN. That means even when we zone out, our brain might be solving long-standing puzzles subconsciously. Now let's contrast that with how we usually live. In today's hyper-connected world, we're rarely without input. Notifications ping, calendars fill, podcasts stream. Even our downtime is engineered for consumption. But what happens to spontaneous thought when every moment is filled? Pause and consider, how many of your deepest insights came when you were trying to be productive? It's not just that distraction stifles insight, it's that we've pathologized the very states that spark genius. Teachers scold daydreamers. Apps reward focus streaks. We're told to meditate away mental noise. But what if some of that noise is actually signal? Mind wandering allows the brain to simulate alternate realities, test hypotheticals, and blend disparate memories into new configurations. It's a mental sketchpad, a cognitive playground, a problem-solving boot camp hidden in plain sight. And it may be evolution's gift. Imagine early humans planning hunts or navigating social bonds. They couldn't rely on only what was in front of them. They needed inner movies, rehearsals, simulations. The DMN might have evolved for this exactly, imaginative foresight. So how do we reclaim it? First, embrace boredom. Seriously, let yourself stare at a ceiling. Stand in line without checking your phone. These micro moments allow the mind to shift into free association mode. Second, schedule nothing. Block time that's not for work, not for leisure, but for liminal thought. Walking without a podcast, sitting by a window, noticing your own mind. Here's a challenge. Try taking a default walk, a 20-minute stroll without goals or stimulation. See where your thoughts go. Third, ask better idle questions. Before you disconnect, plant a seed. Pose a meaningful challenge or question, then let your unconscious mind do its thing. This is called constructive mind wandering, a deliberate invitation to insight. Curious? There's more. A team from UC Santa Barbara found that students who allowed their minds to wander in certain conditions actually improved their reading comprehension scores later. The reason? Spontaneous thought can lead to unexpected connections that deepen understanding. Even in the corporate world, companies are waking up to this. Google's famous 20% time policy, letting employees explore personal projects, has produced some of their most innovative ideas. Why? Because when people aren't rigidly focused, their creativity flourishes. But there's a cultural barrier too. In Western productivity culture, idleness feels sinful. We glorify hustle. We fear the blank page. But what if the blank page is the brain's greatest canvas? Quick reflection. When you daydream, Where does your mind tend to go? Some people drift to the past, replaying memories. Others leap to the future, simulating hopes or fears. Both are signs of a rich internal world, and both feed into cognitive functions like empathy, planning, and resilience. And get this, studies show that individuals with higher working memory capacity are more likely to benefit from mind wandering. So it's not that drifting is inherently bad, it's how you drift that matters. There's even a time and place for productive mindlessness. Mundane tasks like washing dishes, organizing your desk, even doodling can spark insight. These low-demand activities create just enough structure to anchor your attention, but not enough to drown out spontaneous thought. Want to supercharge it? Pair mind wandering with nature. A 2015 study found that time in green environments enhances default mode activity and fosters divergent thinking. So go for that walk in the woods. It's not indulgent, it's neural enrichment. Now imagine this in contrast to AI. Machines process data linearly, with clarity and focus. Humans, we leap, associate, dream, distort, reassemble. And in those distortions lie our breakthroughs. That's our cognitive superpower. We don't always know where an idea comes from, only that it arrives. In a time where AI can outanalyze, outcalculate, and outpredict, our edge might be in what can't be predicted, in the poetic, the accidental, the half-formed. So here's a final prompt. What if your mind's greatest work happens when you think you're wasting time? Start treating those moments not as bugs in the system, but features of the design. You weren't built to operate like a computer. You were built to drift, reflect, imagine, and synthesize. And from that comes genius. Thanks for staying to the end. Like, subscribe, and share if this sparked a new insight. Think deeper, act brighter.